The sun had barely lifted. A muted gray hung over the campus parking lot, the kind of morning light that makes everything look drained. I stood outside my last class, phone in hand, watching cars pull in and out. My screen was lit, waiting, like it was supposed to ring, but it never did. Minutes dragged, my phone stayed silent. No messages, no calls. The crowd thinned until the lot was empty, and I was still there, like I hadn't just burnt through my last ounce of pride. I couldn't believe I was standing there, stranded in a parking lot, waiting for someone to pick me up in my own damn car. Eventually, I called an Uber. The ride home blurred by. Tires hummed against the asphalt while I stared out the window. My phone rested on my lap, face up, a dark screen that gave nothing back. When we pulled into the driveway, my stomach turned. My SUV was there, parked like it never had moved. He was home. He had been home the entire time. I stepped out slowly, staring at my car as if it could explain itself. Maybe he had fallen asleep. Maybe something came up. Maybe I was overthinking. But the truth was simple. He had left me stranded again. I punched in the keypad code and heard the locks click. My plan was only to grab my textbook from the floorboard. I opened the driver's door, and the heat rushed out, thick and stale. Underneath it was something sweeter, artificial, foreign, not my perfume. The seat was reclined too far back, not shifted, not lazy, all the way down, like someone had been lying in it. I leaned closer. That's when I noticed a glint of gold, a torn square of foil tucked beneath the seat rail, crushed and nearly invisible. I picked it up carefully, pinched it between two fingers, smooth and wrinkled. I had vacuumed this car 2 days ago. This was new. I slid it into the pocket of my hoodie, grabbed my textbook, and walked to the front door. Something in me stalled, my body hesitating as if it already knew what waited inside. The house was quiet. The only sound came from the PlayStation, a low electric hum. The TV was frozen on the Call of Duty lobby screen. The controller left on the couch, its battery light blinking red. Then his voice carried from the bathroom. "Bae, I was on my way to pick you up. Can you put some gas in the car real quick? I gotta go see my mom." Steam leaked into the hallway. He stood in the shower with his back turned, hands dragging through his hair. That's when I saw them. Scratches, red and raw. One across his shoulder blade, two lower down his back. These were not accidents. They were nails. He turned enough to catch me stare. "I was hooping yesterday. Mosquitoes been crazy." He shut the water off, slid the glass door open, and looked at me like nothing was out of place. "You gonna stand there?" I leaned against the wall, letting him walk past me. His neck was bare, his jaw exposed. That was when I noticed the bruise under his chin. purple, raised, a hickey. He didn't explain. He didn't bother. My chest tightened. My jaw locked until it clicked. I couldn't speak. So I moved. I went to the sink, gathered his clothes, and carried them to the laundry room. The smell hit before I leaned down. Not sweat, not soap. Sex. It lingered in the fabric, sour and thick. His underwear carried it strongest, damp and undeniable. I pulled my hand back, but the smell clung. Then I felt him behind me. "You smelling my stuff now?" His voice was smug, too calm. I froze. "You hear me?" he pressed. Silence. "I said you hear me." His tone cracked sharp. He stepped closer, bored with the game. "You always doing this. You need help." His eyes flicked around the room, scanning my movement like he was studying evidence. "You take your meds today? I told you to call your psychiatrist last week. Did you?" His voice dropped, low and controlled. "There's something wrong with you. You keep doing wild shit. You might need to be admitted seriously." I walked past him into the bedroom, reached into my hoodie pocket, pulled out the wrapper. I held it up. "What's this?" His face didn't move. "That's not mine. My boy must have dropped it. Probably fell out of his pocket." Baby, I threw the lamp. It shattered against the wall, glass exploding. "Do you really think I'm that fucking crazy?" I screamed. "I'm not crazy." His eyes widened for half a breath, then went flat. "Chill, for real. You need to calm down before somebody call the police on us. You know I got warrants. I can't have that shit." He grabbed the keys from the table. "I'm going to my mom's. I'll be back in a little. You need to take your medicine and get some rest, okay?" Then he was gone. I stood in front of the mirror staring at myself. The apartment buzzed with the spin cycle of the washer. The ceiling light hummed faintly above me. Someone once asked why I stayed. I told them. He was a Sagittarius, so was I. We was born a day apart. We talked the same, laughed at the same things. We played games for hours, watched movies, and quoted the same lines without planning it. He was familiar. He was fire. He was fun. He was the version of me I wanted close. Maybe that was the problem. Being with him was like dating a mirror. One side always distorts. The mirror never reflects your love back. It only shows you what you ignore. I picked up my phone. I held it. I put it back down. There was no one to call. Not without starting something I couldn't clean up. My hands gripped the sink. My breath stalled. Then the pain hit. It started low, a knot pulling inside me. Then it tore sharp. My left arm went numb, my chest locked. I couldn't draw air. I slid onto the tub, then the floor. My forehead pressed against the tile. Heat spread through me, then cold, then nothing. I don't know how long I was out. Lights, voices, Velcro straps, wheels rattling over concrete, latex gloves, metal doors swinging. "Her pressure is dropping. Call ahead, get them ready." I heard my name, but not in his voice. This one was clipped, clinical, rushed. I wasn't floating, I was sinking, and a part of me didn't want to come back. The hospital light was too much. It pressed through my eyelids until I had to open them. The ceiling tiles were blank and white. A monitor blinked, steady beside me. IV lines tugged at my arm. Electrodes clung to my chest. And the air smelled like disinfectant and latex. When I tried to move, my body pushed back. My joints cracked. My chest felt heavy. The nurse leaned close, too cheerful for the room. "Oh, good, you're up?" she said. I did not answer. She explained I had been admitted the night before and left to fetch the doctor. I sat up, arms trembling underneath their own weight. The air in my lungs felt shallow, like I had just broken the surface after being held under. The doctor came in calm, watching me the whole time. "Mild stroke," he said, as if careful phrasing could change it. "You've been under a lot of stress?" Baby, I looked at him. In my head, I almost laughed. Stress was the ground I lived on. He asked about family, about emergency contacts. I told him there was no one. He nodded like he already knew. "We want to get you on your feet today," he said. "A few laps around the hall. Keep the blood moving." I did not want to, but I nodded. They helped me stand. I gripped the IV pole and shuffled forward. The wheel squeaked against the floor. Every step said I was alive. Every step made me wonder why. The unit was shaped like a oval, with the nurse's station in the center. I rounded the corner with my head down. And that's when I saw him. He sat in the waiting area, behind glass like he belonged there. Baby, a woman with long blonde hair had one leg hooked over his. Her chest was pushed forward, cleavage on full display. The kind of curves that looked more sculpted than grown. Her hips spilled against the edge of the chair. She ran her hand through his hair while his head rested on her shoulder. Baby, like they were home together, not waiting on news about me. The pole cried under my grip. I stopped. He looked up, his face tightened for a second. The exact look two people who know each other recognize without words. He stood and came out toward me, quick and practiced. "Hey, how you feeling?" he said, too bright. Bitch, I kept moving, brushed past him with my motherfucking shoulder. "Move!" He glanced at the woman, then leaned in so close his breath could have been a lie. "You're doing too much. Let's not do this here," he said, the meaning in his eyes finishing the sentence. My jaw locked. "Really? Who the fuck is she?" I asked. He sighed, the sound meant to smooth. "Come on, don't start," he said. "This is why you're here in the first place." "Motherfucker, you're cuddled up with her like you're at the fucking movies," I said. I thought something was gonna happen to you," he answered. I was scared. I stayed because I was worried." And the words felt memorized. "Nigga, I said, shaking my head. You was all cuddled up on her shoulder. Look, you're loud right now, he hissed. You're gonna bring attention. He looked around like the walls might have ears. The look said the rest. He reached for my arm. I jerked the IV pole away. Don't fucking touch me, I said. I held the pole like a rod. He stepped back with his hands up. I'm not trying to start anything, he said. I'm leaving. I'll handle everything at home. Everything will be fine. The nurses moved forward towards us. One said softly, let's get you back to bed. He took the woman's wrist and pulled her up, her blonde hair spilling forward as she rose. He promised he would be back. He promised everything would be okay. They left together. The glass door closed behind them. The waiting room emptied, like a stage after the actors exit. Back in my room, the nurse dimmed the lights and pushed something in my IV. Her voice was calm and not performative. I did not look at her. I watched the window. No phone, no car, no one to call even if I had a number to dial. Just me and a hard thing building in my chest. By morning, I told them I was leaving. They slid the discharge papers across the table and explained again that signing out against medical advice carried risks. The form said they had warned me. I signed anyway. I did not want lectures or tests. I wanted out. The sliding doors opened and the outside air hit clean and cool. It did not blind me like fluorescent lights. It gave the world its edge back. No one waited. That was fine. I did not need a ride. I needed a plan. The air was sour when I opened the door. Not rotten, not like something died. More like something that never lived. Food left too long in the fridge, or like damp socks, old breath. The trash I had meant to take out before the hospital was still in the can. Flies circled above it. The sink sagged under dishes. Shoes were scattered in the hallway. Clothes slumped across the couch. Everything was where I had left it. I stood in the doorway for a long time. He did not even clean up. Not even after everything. The keys hit the bowl with a sharp clink, too loud for the quiet room. I started bagging the trash, slow and steady, not angry, just hollow. The lock turned behind me. I did not flinch, did not look up. The door swung open. Yo, he called. You home? He stepped inside with a grin and a jack-o'-lantern tucked under his arm. Damn, I didn't know you were getting released today. Why didn't you have them call me? I tied the trash and kept my back to him. I didn't want to bother you, I said, with a shrug. It's fine, don't worry about it. He hovered near the door like he was not sure what to do with his hands. I would have picked you up, brought you home and everything. It's fine, don't worry about it, I said, turning to the sink and running the water. You sure? He took a cautious step closer. You alright? You feeling okay? I kept my eyes on the suds sliding down the plate in my hand. I'm okay, I'm just tired. He scratched the back of his neck, still searching my face for a storm. When none came, he drifted toward the hallway. Tomorrow's Halloween and everything, he said, almost too casual. Thought maybe we could throw on a couple of horror movies like we do every year. Yeah, I said flat. Sounds like a plan. He glanced at me like he wanted more than that. When it didn't come, he added quickly, My mom's doing that Halloween thing tomorrow evening with the kids. I told her I'd stop by to help, but I'll be home way before midnight. We can still catch a couple of movies. I reached for the keys on the counter. I need to go to the pharmacy, I said. Pick up my prescriptions. He leaned halfway into the bathroom door. You sure you want to go alone? I can run it for you. His voice carried that thin, false concern he used when he wanted to sound useful. I slid the keys into my bag and kept my tone flat. No, I got it. He nodded and disappeared in the bathroom. The water started running. A moment later, his voice carried through the door. Yo, while you out, mind grabbing me a Big Mac, fries, some nuggets? Child, I rolled my eyes. Anything else? There was a pause, like he just remembered. Milkshake. Oh, and sweet and sour sauce. I opened the front door. Love you, he called. Love you too, I said, voice even. The latch caught behind me. The sound was final. My jaw clenched until I heard the click of my own teeth. You dumb motherfucker. Now it's my turn. I checked my phone. My fingers did not scroll for prescriptions. I wasn't going to no pharmacy. I was going to Best Buy. Not an errand, not a distraction. The first move in the new script I was writing, and this time I was directing it. Best Buy was almost empty. The kind of quiet that comes when the world is already looking past today and into something else. Halloween decorations were pushed to clearance. Skeletons slumped against half-torn signs. I moved fast. A burner phone, charger, battery pack, paid in cash, no eye contact, no upsell. Back in the car, I parked in the far corner of the lot, set everything up, step by step, programmed it, synced it to my real phone, named the tracker my car, simple, innocent. Then I pulled up the rug beneath the passenger seat and tucked the phone under the foam lining. Black tape sealed it in place. Nothing that would shift if he moved the seat. Nothing that would rattle loose. Hidden but steady. I sat still for a long time, hand resting on my lap, breath measured. Not angry, not scared, just exact. Rage had no place in this. Precision did. Halloween arrived under a heavy sky. The air felt damp, like the city was sweating through its costume. Street lights spread a dirty orange glow across the windshield. Kids passed by in plastic masks, sneakers lighting up as they dragged pillowcases full of sugar. Inside, he was getting ready. I sat on the couch, flipping channels with the volume low. I listened to the rhythm of his movement. Closet door opening, shower running, the mist of cologne hanging too sweet in the air. I did not ask who he was dressing up for. He came out smelling like ego, hoodie fresh, hat pulled low. He grabbed his phone, checked it, then looked over at me. Yo, I won't be long, he said. I'm just going over to my mom's. Gotta help her pass out candy. Be back by 12. I nodded once. Okay. He pulled at his sleeve, half smiling. You sure you good? Yeah, I said, pressing the remote, eyes on the screen. I'm good. He hovered, waiting for me to stop him. I didn't. He took the keys from the table, paused in the doorway, and threw one more line over his shoulder. Yo, pick a couple of movies while I'm gone. Make some popcorn. We'll watch them when I get back. I stared past him and said nothing. The door closed. I opened my phone, pulled open the app, and watched the little blinking dot that was my car ease out of the driveway. It did not turn towards his mother's house. It hit the fucking highway. Eastbound, 23 minutes out. The signal paused at a rundown apartment complex. Again at a 7-Eleven. Then it stopped for good behind the club near UCF. Baby, that's all I needed. I ordered an Uber and asked to be dropped at the gas station across the street, the one with the broken ice machine and the flickering sign. From there, I could see the club. Music bled through the walls, loud enough to reach the road. College kids spilled across the lot in cheap wigs, fake blood, short skirts. I scanned the parking rows until I found my car. I walked over like it belonged to me, because it did. Through the back window, I spotted a pink duffel bag in the seat. Leopard trim, gold zipper, rolled up flats perched on top. It wasn't mine. It had to be hers. She packed for the night. I opened the door and slid in, sat still, looked at the bag, felt the weight of silence pressing down. A voice cut through. "You looking to party?" I turned. A man stood at the edge of the lot, head cocked, tattoos crawling down his arm, gold teeth flashing when he smiled. "I said, you looking to party?" His eyes shifted from me to the car. He saw what I saw. You waiting on someone?" I shook my head once. "What you got?" His grin widened. "What you need?" "Blow," I said, my low voice. That pulled him closer. "How much?" "An 8-ball. His eyebrows lifted. A flicker of excitement. "For real?" I stepped out of the car and met him near the side of the building. "Cash," I said. He slid a small bag into my hand, folded tight. I passed the bills, no chatter, no hesitation. Back at the car, I wiped the bag with a napkin from my pocket, careful not to leave prints. Then I pushed it deep in her duffel, under a pair of heels. Took my time with it. I slipped the burner phone out from under the seat, pocketed it, closed the door behind me, and crossed the street to the gas station. The pumps buzzed overhead, their lights pale and jumpy, painting the concrete in cold blue. Inside, the clerk leaned on the counter, chewing gum like the night couldn't touch him. I brought a bottle of water, just to have something in my hand, then leaned back against the glass, checking the time on my phone. Through the window, I kept my eyes fixed on the lot across the street. My car sat there quiet, like it had been waiting for me all along. The bass rolled out of the club in steady waves, rattling the window in front of me, each beat hitting like a countdown. By 1:55, I had made the call. My voice was tight, clipped with panic I tried to control. "I was carjacked earlier on I-4. I tracked my car to the club across from the Shell near UCF. I'm still here." "Are you at the scene?" the operator asked. "Yes, across the street. They're still inside." By the time I hung up, the cruisers were slipping into the lot. No sirens, no flash, just engines cut low. Lights dimmed down to nothing. One officer stepped into the gas station, scanning the place until his eyes found me. "Which car?" he asked. "The white Explorer," I told him, pointing through the glass. "Under the tree." He narrowed his eyes. "What did they look like?" "I don't know." He had a mask on. She looked spun out. White powder under her nose, maybe part of her costume, maybe not. He gave a single nod. "Then we wait. Whoever drives it out, we got him. I pushed off the counter and stepped outside, leaning against the ice machine closer now with a clear view of the lot. The crowd poured out in bursts, costumes sagging, makeup melting, glitter clinging stubborn under the streetlights, wigs crooked, heels carried in hands. Their laughter hit sharp, then fell apart as they scattered towards cars. Then I saw them, his arm locked around her waist, pulling her close like she was proof he belonged. She stumbled on the curb, and he caught her. She tilted her head back and let out a laugh too big for the night. The kind you throw when you want the whole lot to notice. They reached my Explorer. She slid into the passenger seat. He circled to the driver's side. The tail light glowed red. Floodlights snapped on. "Step out of the vehicle!" The command cracked across the whole lot. The car froze. Doors opened. Officers moved fast. He was yanked out first, slammed across the hood, hands pinned. She kicked and cursed, screaming about her rights, about her mother. "ID," one officer barked. "In my back pocket," he muttered. They pulled the wallet, passed it back. Another officer carried it towards the cruiser, already scrolling through the tablet. Meanwhile, a flashlight beam cut across the back seat. The pink duffel bag came up heavy in the officer's grip. He unzipped it. Plastic gleamed inside. "What's this?" "That's mine," she blurred too fast. The officer raised it higher. Her voice cracked. "No, wait! Not mine. I didn't pack that." "You just said it was yours," he snapped. She shook her head, hair sticking to her face. It's my bag, but not that." He twisted against the hood, shouting over, "Yo, that's not mine either. I don't even do that shit. You know me. Check my record." The officer with the tablet came back. He did not need to say a word. The glow on the screen was enough. Warrants, North Carolina. The rest wrote itself. Phones lit up all around. Strangers raising them high, recording every second. His downfall already spilling onto social media before the cuffs were even locked. Baby, I crossed the street when they had him pinned. Floodlights washing us both. His eyes found me, wide and wild, like he had just seen the jaws of the trap. "Yo, what did you do?" he shouted. I tilted my head. "What I had to." They hauled him toward the cruiser. She kept sobbing, bag swinging in the officer's hand. He never looked at her once. One officer turned to me. "You can follow us to the station if you would like to give a statement." "Sure," I said. I slid behind the wheel of my Explorer, turned the key, and waited for the convoy to move. When their taillights faded down the road, I pulled out the other way. First right turn. The damage was done. My car was mine. He was cuffed. She had her bag. I did not need to give a statement. I was going home. Back to my couch. Back to the horror movies waiting on the shelf. The kind where the final girl doesn't just survive. She rewrites the ending.